Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 24th Annual Life Sciences BC Awards presented by Farris. Please join me in welcoming our MC for this evening, Wendy Hurlburt.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes? Perfect. Thank you. If everyone could take their seats. Wow, this is amazing. The energy in this room is unbelievable. Okay, so good evening and welcome to the 24th Annual Life Sciences BC Awards Ceremony presented by Farris. Thank you all for joining us. It is wonderful to see you all in 3D, as we've learned to start saying after the pandemic. And our last in-person awards was in April 2019. Which, a little known fact, I didn't work at LSBC at the time. So this is my first in-person LSBC award ceremony in this role. So be easy on me. And while we continue to have our awards ceremonies online and virtually over our favorite platform, Zoom, over the last couple of years, I think it goes without saying that it's really great to be back in person and makes this year even more special. Tonight, we are going to be celebrating the life sciences sector generally, and there's certainly a lot to celebrate, and the energy in the room certainly says that, and more specifically, our 2022 award winners. In addition, we want to take a moment to celebrate in person the 2020 and 2021 award winners, who, while we had a fantastic virtual ceremony, didn't get the opportunity to be recognized amongst all of the peers, so we're going to ask them to stand up to be recognized as well. Before we begin the program, I'd like to respectfully acknowledge that we're attending this event from within the ancestral, traditional, and unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, including the territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations, and express gratitude for the unceded land that we're privileged to work, play on, and tonight celebrate on. We're thrilled to have you join us this evening, and some of you have traveled from very far across the country. I've heard stories of float planes and trains and buses and, oh, you're here, you made it. And I want to give a special welcome to Minister Callan, the Minister of Jobs, Economic Recovery and Innovation, and the Parliamentary Secretary for Technology and Innovation, Brenda Bailey, who's also with us. Our sector has a long history of globally recognized innovation, from innovative mRNA research, HIV treatments, global leadership in antibodies, oncology, genomics, precision medicine, nanomedicine, to name a few. And with BC Life Sciences innovation being at the forefront of addressing many of the challenges that came out of COVID-19 and are being deployed globally, vaccine development, therapeutics, ventilators, screening tools, COVID-19 digital tools and apps, the world has been taking notice on BC. So I want to say congratulations to all of you for all of the work that you've been doing over the last few years. Our sector has never been stronger. We're home to the fastest growing life sciences sector with a dynamic and world-renowned life sciences community, comprising nearly 2,000 companies and employing almost 20,000 people. Life Sciences BC is also one of the largest associations of life sciences communities in Canada. So we're very, very proud to be able to represent you every single day. Our sector, through our world-class research discoveries, has been a leader in innovation in digital health, virtual health, medtech, devices, diagnostics, therapeutics, the list goes on. And this has resulted in BC raising a record level of capital over the last few years, which enables us to scale companies, translate our research and discoveries into innovation, and create almost over 1,000 high-paying jobs over the last 3 years. So it's amazing what is going on in our sector. Coming from this place of strength, we have opportunities to accelerate our growth, creating economic value while playing the important role in developing innovative products, solutions, and services that are so critical to the long-term sustainability of our healthcare system. And I know I don't need to tell any of you that. Well, and as many of you know, I could talk about this for hours, for my passion for this sector. I also think it's important that we pause tonight and take the time to really recognize why we are here, which is to really recognize all of you and the award winners. So enough of my speech about the opportunities, and now we're going to live in the here and now. For 24 years, LSBC has brought our community together through these awards, which recognize British Columbia's life sciences leadership and partner with Farris. Farris is a leading BC law firm with offices in Vancouver, Kelowna, and Victoria, whose long-term involvement with the life sciences sector has guided some of the largest and most groundbreaking financing, commercializations, and mergers in Canada. We thank the Farris team for their continued and significant support of not only this event, but the life sciences sector generally. So in addition to recognizing the award winners, we're also excited to launch our annual Business in Vancouver Life Sciences magazine. There are copies spread all over the place throughout the reception, and there are many copies at our reception desk, which you can pick up on the way out. This magazine is a snapshot of our sector, our supporters, our members. It's got lots of information of clinical discoveries, capital raised, size of companies, and also profiles this year's award winners. So please pick up your copy. It's also available online. Throughout the evening, we encourage you to use social media to help share the event and celebrate the achievements with individuals and organizations representing our sector, and use the hashtag LSBC Awards. We'd also like to recognize our other event sponsors, many of whom are long-term supporters of the annual Life Sciences Awards ceremony presented by Farris. So our award sponsors, AbCellera, AstraZeneca, Canaccord Genuity, Genome BC, Johnson & Johnson, Novacure, St. Paul's Providence. Our technology sponsor, Chinook, our event supporter, Aurinia. Thank you all for your support for making this event happen. And in addition, we would like to recognize all the sponsors of LSBC, of which I think there's a representative from every one of the companies here tonight. So our platinum sponsors, Admare, Farris, GSK, Janssen, Pfizer, Roche. Our gold sponsors, AbCellera, Acuitas, AstraZeneca, Blake's, Innovative Medicines Canada, Merck, Novartis, Stem Cell Technologies. And our silver sponsors and our bronze sponsors. Thank you very much. Your support allows us to do what we do every day, and it's a privilege to represent the life sciences sector in British Columbia. Now, with that, to kick off our evening, I would like to welcome Honourable Ravi Kahlon, Minister of Jobs, Economic Recovery and Innovation, to say a few words. He's been a great supporter of the BC life sciences sector, and we're honoured to have him join us today. Minister Kahlon was elected as MLA for Delta North in 2017 and re-elected in 2020. Currently, he is the Minister of Jerry, as we like to refer it, and previously he served as Parliamentary Secretary for Sports and Multiculturalism. Born and raised in Victoria, Minister Kahlon was introduced to field hockey by his father and grandfather. He's a two-time Olympian in sports for Team Canada and has been inducted into the Delta Sports Hall of Fame. Prior to his election as an MLA, he spent 7 years in banking and another 6 years with the New Democrat Caucus as the Director of Stakeholder Relations. Minister Kahlon has been active in the North Delta community for many years as a volunteer on the boards of the Delta Parks and Recreation Committee and the Men's High Performance Field Hockey Team. He's a certified coach and mentor to many youth in North Delta, and spends time coaching field hockey and soccer. And with that, I'd like to welcome you up to the stage to say a few welcoming words.
Great. Thank you so much, Wendy. I got to review that bio. It feels like you know my whole life story from that. But hello, and thank you so much for the invitation to join you today. I want to start by recognizing and acknowledge that we're on the traditional territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh people. And I want to recognize my colleague, Brenda Bailey, who's joining me here today, the Parliamentary Secretary for Technology and Innovation. It is fantastic to be here and to be here in person. And it's thanks to people like you in the life sciences sector that we can do this. Not only to celebrate your accomplishments, but to get back to some sort of normal. And this feels very much like normal. Whether it's attending events like this, or going out to eat, or spending time with our loved ones, it's technology that is developed through life science sector that allowed us to be here today. During the pandemic, our life sciences sector rose to the challenge. Now, I'm sure you've heard this before many times, but virtually every COVID-19 vaccine candidate that reached late-stage development in 2020 used components or developed, manufactured by BC scientists or companies. That is something I think we all should be very proud of. With that said, I would like to extend my well-deserved congratulations on behalf of the Government of British Columbia to all the nominees and the award winners of the 24th Annual Life Science Award. So please give them a round of applause. This sector is important to me. It's important to our government, and it's very important to the future of British Columbia. It's one of the key pillars of our Stronger BC economic plan, and this sector is booming. With more than 2,000 companies employing over 17,000 people, so much amazing, innovative work is happening right here in BC. In today's world, innovation that drives growth and productivity, that creates new, good-paying jobs. We know that talent is the new currency and that expanding businesses need skilled staff to take their businesses to the next step and to continue to innovate. We also know that the province needs to do more to prepare British Columbians for the jobs of tomorrow. And we're laser focused on filling the over 1 million job openings we're expected to have here in British Columbia over the next 10 years. To help British Columbians become future ready and step up for the jobs and the businesses need for the future, we have expanded our access to training several highly specialized occupations. This includes a new investment of $66.6 million in a new health science center at BCIT, which will support students with more than 30 healthcare programs. We've designed our Stronger BC economic plan with the goal to ensure that we have resilient and clean growth. And I could go on and on about this, but I want to leave you with a special story. We know the metrics, we know the significant impacts the life science sector is having in British Columbia. But this last weekend, I was at Cobb's Bread in North Delta. And I was talking to a young woman behind the counter. Her name is Amanda. I've seen her for 6 years. Every Sunday morning I go there with my son. And I asked her how school was. And she said, well, I'm almost done. And I said, oh, what is it again you're doing? And she said, well, I want to work in the life science sector. And I said, oh, that's amazing. I said, yeah, we've been doing a lot of work with Life Sciences BC. And she said, yeah, no, I know. She said, when I started this path, I thought I was going to have to leave to another jurisdiction to work. And she said, now I'm actually going to stay and work for a company here in British Columbia. So we look at the important metrics, but I think what's more important is that we're giving people, young people, hope and giving them some excitement to join this important sector. And that's a credit to all the work that you do, the important work that Wendy and Life Science BC does. I want to say a special congratulations to all the award winners today, and I want to say a big thank you for having me here today. So thank you.
Thank you, Minister Callan. We know you're a big supporter of the life sciences sector, and we very much appreciate it. So, as I said, the last 2 years required resilience on many levels, and the BC life sciences sector was very much at the forefront of this. And so now we want to take the opportunity of looking back at 2020 and 2021 and recognize our award winners. So I would like to start with the 2020 award winners video.
Canada is too small and the world is too big for us to operate in little silos all over the country. So really like-minded groups trying to do the same things came together to create one national organization with a very clear vision of Canadian life sciences leading the world.
What we think the vision of the future is being able to take the most promising innovations out of Canadian academia and in small and medium-sized enterprises, and really to help them grow on a not only a Canadian scale but on a global scale.
I went from being an oil and gas engineer to managing to be a venture capitalist, building a life sciences practice where, I didn't have a life sciences background. I made 25 investments in Canadian companies. One of the things I'm most proud of is that of those companies, 6 products were developed from human health. So as an early stage venture capitalist, those are pretty good odds. People talk about impact investing, and I can't imagine a place that you have better impact than to improve somebody's health. And that's what we do every day. And there are so many, I would say, maybe easier businesses to build, but somehow we're all bonded by the fact that that's our goal.
I'd like to see the people that come through my lab be able to make change in the world. I'm very proud of some of those trainees. They've all ended up in science pretty much, in different aspects of science. Some in industry, a lot in academia, some in teaching or the medical profession. To have those people continue and keep doing good work, I think would be great.
I think I'm most proud of a finding we had about 20 years ago in a super rare childhood cancer called an NTRK fusion. We were the first to describe it as a recurrent genetic alteration in human cancers, and then we found it in breast cancer, others found it in leukemia, and now it's actually thought to be in 1% of all human tumors, maybe 25 different tumor types. This has led the pharmaceutical industry to make a really effective drug against it that helps patients all over the world. That's the most gratifying thing, that you work in the lab, you think no one's listening, and then something you discover actually has application and is beneficial to patients.
I think ultimately what drives me at Xenon, however, has been the goal of the company. This is really to develop novel medicines for people with devastating neurological diseases. And as a physician and scientist, this is very, very important to me. It's about the quality of the drugs we can bring to market and the lives that we can improve. And we'll be a successful company if we do that well. This award is really important for the company. What this deal enables, I think, is the ability to parallel track many different products, which we couldn't have done on our own, to enhance the likelihood of getting these products to the market for children with severe early onset epilepsies and adults with very refractory severe epilepsies. And that, for me, the recognition of that is really, really important, and I know it will be to the team as well.
Here in Vancouver, that had been working with Versant Ventures as part of their in-house discovery team. And Tom actually got involved with them early on to try and figure out an area for them to focus on where there was unmet medical need and where they thought they could really impact patient care.
We ended up landing on kidney disease. In the US, over $100 billion a year is spent on either dialysis or transplant. Despite that fact, there's very few drugs that prevent the progression of kidney disease.
Well, it's great to be recognized in our hometown of Vancouver as an emerging company. It really has been a fast trajectory for us, so to get this recognition in the first year that we're in business is really a testament to the great work that Tom and the Inception team has done.
We live in an era where everything's connected to the internet, where your car knows when brake pads are worn out, where it is, what it's doing. and yet every day we put in billions of dollars worth of life-saving medical devices and they provide absolutely no feedback. I think patients will want to know what's going on in their body, physicians will want to know how to monitor their patients away from home. This is just the next obvious step in the evolution of patient care. One of my founders, Michael Rayner, has a phrase that says being early is as good as being wrong. We were really early, so we were wrong a lot. We had to put our own money in, we had to build everything ourselves to start. It took a long time before other people bought into the vision. We should be on the market with our first product, a talking knee, this year.
I was in the very first class that it was being offered at BCIT, the biotech program, and our head instructor was Dr. Paul Barron. I was very impressed with discussions about how we could apply these learnings towards improving healthcare, treatment of people, and building industry here in Canada. And that's what I've tried to do ever since. I've been very tenacious, both scientifically, in the early days, 25 years ago, trying to develop this single-cell approach to high-throughput screening and development of therapeutic antibodies. Nobody had done that before, and it was technically quite challenging at the time. People thought I was wasting my time. Through tenacious efforts and a lot of work, we were able to optimize that system into a very reproducible, high-throughput approach that now, 25 years later, is pretty much dominating the space in therapeutic antibodies.
Okay, so now I would like to ask all of the So you got ahead of me. I'd like to ask all the 2020 award winners, people from the companies and individuals, to stand up. And once I've finished listing, then I would like everyone to clap for them. So, Strategic Life Sciences Partner of the Year, Admare. You guys are over there. Dr. Ali Carson, the Genome BC Award for Scientific Excellence, Xenon Pharmaceuticals, Deal of the Year, Canary Medical, Medical Technology Company of the Year. Nancy Harrison was not able to be with us tonight. Dr. Paul Sorensen, Michael Smith Foundation for Health Research, Aubrey Tingle Award, Chinook Therapeutics, Emerging Life Sciences Company of the Year, and John Babcock, Dr. Don Ricks Award. Congratulations to all of you. So, moving forward, we're on to 2021. And with that, I would like to introduce Scott Phillips, the founder and CEO of Starfish Medical, and most recently announced past chair of the LSBC board. Scott has been the chair for the last 3 years. An amazing leader and has been a huge support of the organization. And Scott, I will allow you to introduce the 2021.
Well, thanks so much, Wendy. As Wendy mentioned, so about 40 minutes ago, I was on Pender Island, standing on a dock, and here we are. Isn't this amazing? And so, reflecting, if I can have 30 seconds to reflect on the last 3 years being the chair of the board, it's been a remarkable journey. In some ways, surprisingly smooth for all the chaos that went through all of our lives and the whole sector over the last 3 years. 2 years of COVID. We didn't know what would happen to an organization that's primarily about events in a time when there can't be any events. Does the whole thing collapse? Should we just shut our doors and go home for a while? But actually, remarkably enough, I think due to partly a lot of the sort of confidence that Wendy brings to everything, that we just navigate. She says, no, we'll just still get people to pay for their sponsorships even though they can't actually see anybody. It's going to be fine. And it's just fine, wasn't it, you sponsors? And the events were actually more successful than ever. So who knew those sponsors are going to get double their value but we carried forward. It was a wonderful thing. And here we are, stronger than ever. It's there's so many organizations that have had to pivot and shift in these circumstances. And it's a wonderful thing to be finally back here to celebrate in person. So I would like to ask you to join me in watching this clip of the 2021 award winners.
Aurenia is a company that's primarily focused on less common autoimmune and renal diseases. For Aurenia, I would say, as the team has expanded from, at the start, 3 of us to now over 300 people, I would say the most crowning achievement is our January 22nd approval of LUPKYNIS for the treatment of lupus nephritis. You'll see in the near future that we'll close a number of earlier stage deals to build our pipeline and keep investing locally and hiring people locally. And I can see nothing but growth for Aurenia long term, and we'll be proud supporters of the local life sciences cluster.
We started Novator with the thesis that the success and failure of startups is correlated with one thing, and that's people. Having experienced advisors that have both experience and network. I'm most proud of the work we've done at Novator, helping multiple companies, entrepreneurs, scientists bring their innovative devices and therapeutics to clinical trials here in BC and around the world.
We happen to be uniquely well positioned to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic based on work that had been decades in the making. One of the things that I would say to young scientists, young researchers, is how important collaboration is to advances in science, and contributing expertise from Acuitas, combining that with expertise on messenger RNA design and synthesis from BioNTech, expertise on scale-up of manufacture and distribution by Pfizer, and it really was a global collaboration that allowed the vaccine to be made available so quickly.
So we were very quick to, within 10 days of the release of the sequences, to produce a test that we still use today and share that test with frontline laboratories. We were quick to adopt the use of whole genome sequencing that allowed us to show that the initial cases in British Columbia were not from China. They were in fact from the US or from Europe. And I think that it really behooves us to learn from this pandemic and transform how we respond as a society.
You can see the times we're living in now, where climate change seems to be manifesting in real time. And so the impacts on biodiversity, we're just beginning to understand that. I feel really fortunate to have had the opportunity to build my research program within this age of genomics, seeing our research results translated into meaningful conservation practice, contributing to species at risk status assessments, improving invasive species management, guiding captive breeding and reintroductions, and informing freshwater fisheries management.
My role as a psychologist was to assess children born extremely tiny. Our work has had a major clinical impact on neonatal intensive care, identifying pain stress as a modifiable risk factor with long-term consequences, and thereby the importance of pain stress management. Improving the lives of preterm infants at this point is improving their neurodevelopmental outcomes. And I am very fortunate, together with my multidisciplinary collaborators, to have been able to add to the understanding of factors that contribute to these children's development, and hopefully will lead to more optimal outcomes in the long run.
So what Notch has done is developed a first-in-class system for generating T cells from an unlimited source of stem cells and engineering these cells so that the cells mature into functional T cells.
Just know how hard it is to build these companies and to bring good people together. Being recognized by that, I think, is just great for Notch. It's great for the local community, and it's really, appreciated by me.
And I predict in 30 years, we're going to have a whole slew of allogeneic T-cell therapies in the clinic, and way better treatment opportunities for patients who are still suffering from cancer. There has to be better options for them.
With Northview, we really focus on helping companies with the business component of science. This is the hardest job on the planet. We're taking new science and applying it to human disease. We're then taking capital, often from investors who have a timeline in their mind. We're then putting into patients. We then get to go deal with regulators who, especially in the Canadian context, spend most of their time trying to prevent us from getting drugs to market. Then we have to deal with payers to actually make any money back. When you have 20 companies in the portfolio, there's something going wrong every day. Like, you just don't know it yet. I used to have hair.
We started with a problem, which was this epidemic of atrial fibrillation, and we looked for a solution. I would say of general different concepts, we probably tried about 50 to 60 different ideas till we settled on the right idea. And then from the time we made the first prototype of that concept to the time that we had something that we could even marginally use, I know we made 120 of them.
So the Globe is commercially available in Europe, and we're treating patients there. It is available in Canada under clinical study, and we're about to start a US study for FDA approval.
I'll start by saying that I've had a 40-year academic career, all of it at UBC, and including a PhD in pharmaceutical sciences at UBC. I'm absolutely gobsmacked by being one of a group of incredibly distinguished scientists and innovators who have received this Lifetime Achievement Award. So I feel truly honored and privileged to be part of that group.
And as we were incubating at UBC, we saw the immense talent and potential of the people around us. We saw creative minds, new technologies, curiosity, and the willingness to really do work that matters.
Right up to before the pandemic hit, we had run some test cases or pressure tests where we simulated a pandemic and had all hands on deck to prove that we could shrink that discovery timeline from many, many months to only 60 days. And it was right after that that the first case of COVID-19 was reported in the US. That very same day we called an all hands meeting and recognized that whether it was ready or not, we were better positioned than anyone to step up and to bring the first therapeutic antibody to the clinic at world record speed, and to see that now go out and help what is now over 600,000 patients. To save over 10,000 lives is something that you aspire to do if you're in biotech. And when it's done in the course of a year, I mean, that's impactful and really galvanized the team around what could be accomplished.
Well, isn't that inspiring? Somehow when you have a video up there with a bit more context, helps to appreciate, because we're busy doing our stuff every day, working away in the trenches. But when you see things like that, you realize, oh my gosh, there's some very impressive people doing some amazing work here. So I'm going to read out the names, and as I read the name, and just like with the last one, as I read the name of your company, you can stand up, but please hold your applause, because we don't want to be here for hours, until I get through the list. So we'll start with Deal of the Year, Aurinia Pharmaceuticals. On to, wait a second, Strategic Life Science Partner of the Year, Novateur Ventures. Global Impact Award, Acuitas Therapeutics. Genome BC Award for Scientific Excellence, Dr. Michael Russello. Emerging Life Sciences Company of the Year, Notch Therapeutics. Milton Wong Award for Leadership, Northview Ventures, Doug Jansen. Medical Technology Company of the Year, Cardium. And the Dr. Don Ricks Lifetime Achievement Award, Dr. Helen Burt. And Life Sciences Company of the Year, Abcelera. Is Abcelera here somewhere? There they are. And I would also like to recognize the winner of the Leadership Impact Award, Dr. Mel Crichton, Dr. Ruth Grunow, winner of the Michael Smith Health Research BC Aubrey J. Tingle Prize, who are unable to attend tonight. All right, now you can clap for all of them. And at the end of the evening, those of you who were the winners, we're going to have a photograph, so please don't run away until we take your picture. And with that, I'd like to pass the mic back to Wendy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott. And again, congratulations to all of the award winners. So now we're back to 2022, which is now. And I would like to welcome back the Honourable Minister Callan to present the Company of the Year Award.
I know you thought you were done with me, but I'm back. Thank you so much, Wendy. The Life Sciences Company of the Year Award recognizes a life science company in British Columbia whose accomplishments stood out with strong overall performance. This performance may be measured by achieving major milestones, such as moving the business from early stage to mature company, or by raising significant funds, launching a product on the market, and or achieving near commercial success. I'm proud to announce that this year's recipient is Acutus Therapeutics. Founded in February 2009, Vancouver-based Acutus Therapeutics is a private biotechnology company that specializes in the development of delivery systems for nucleic acid therapeutics based on lipid nanoparticles. They partner with pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies and academic institutions to advance nucleic acid therapeutics into clinical trial and the marketplace. The globally respected team works with partners to develop new therapies and address unmet clinical needs. This includes working with Pfizer BioNTech for the COVID-19 Comirnaty, there we go. And also they focused on advancements of treatment for diseases such as HIV/AIDS, cancers, tuberculosis, rabies, malaria, and other serious diseases. Now, let's watch the award winners' video on describing their journey in their own words.
Obviously, our contribution to the development of the COVID-19 vaccine with Pfizer and BioNTech is the most prominent accomplishment, that I think we've seen in the last 12 months. What it has demonstrated, obviously, is the potency and the safety of these types of vaccines. And so what we're now seeing is a lot of interest in extending this technology to development of other vaccines. I mean, in some cases, vaccines for common conditions like flu. But the other thing that I think we're really excited about is the versatility of this technology may allow us to address diseases such as malaria and TB and HIV, which have historically been really challenging to develop a vaccine against, but also around gene editing that are looking to correct genetic defects that give rise to disease. These types of therapeutics, again, need a delivery technology to carry them into cells so that they can be effective. And the second most active area we're engaged in is working with those partners to enable those types of therapeutics to start moving into the clinic. We don't want to be insular. We always want to be externally focused, talking to researchers, learning from them, supporting their efforts. And I would encourage other companies and individuals in the life sciences to also have a similar external focus. That type of collaboration is much more likely to lead to something being able to move into the clinic, into the marketplace, and provide a real health benefit.
I was going to ask you to clap, but ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Thomas Madden.
Thank you, Minister Callan, and I'd also like to thank Life Sciences BC and Wendy Calvert for the award we've received tonight. I think we've all recognized the incredible growth and accomplishments in the life sciences sector over the last few years. And so for Acuitas to be recognized in such a august company is really humbling. So again, we sort of really appreciate that award. I know I haven't personally gone back and looked at the 2020 or 2021 videos since they were recorded, but I have to reflect on how young we all looked back then. One of the things I think we would all sort of recognize is that companies actually accomplish very little. People, however, can make incredible advancements. And one of the things that I really take from this award is recognition for the incredible work that's been done by all of the people at Acuitas. Their dedication, their expertise, their commitment, their steadfastness under very difficult circumstances really led to the success that we've enjoyed. And so I'm delighted to be able to accept this reward on their behalf. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Callan, and congratulations to Dr. Madden and the entire team. Our next award is Deal of the Year Award, and here to present the award is Shane McLaughlin, Vice President of Investment Banking from Canaccord Genuity.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Wendy. The Deal of the Year Award. This isn't just about a big financial win. It honors the province's most significant life sciences deal, a deal that has demonstrated excellence in mergers and acquisitions or transactions that have accelerated the corporate goals and vision of the company. This award honors an individual or organization that over the last 12 months has positively impacted the life sciences sector in British Columbia. This award is also open to significant collaborations, transactions, or innovations that have taken place with companies in the life sciences sector. This year's winner for Deal of the Year is Precision Nanosystems. Precision Nanosystems is a global leader in technologies, solutions, and services for the development of non-viral delivery of genomic medicines, including mRNA vaccines and therapeutics. They support biopharma companies who are ushering in the next wave of genomic medicines in infectious diseases, cancer, and rare diseases. They work with the world's leading drug developers to understand disease and help create the therapeutics and vaccines that will define the future of medicine. Their mission is to accelerate the creation of transformative medicine that significantly impacts human well-being. Now, let's watch a quick video showcasing the Precision Nanosystems story expressed in their own words.
We really believe the power of genomic medicines, really from the start of the company.
I think the origin came about when we realized that we worked in an experienced lab in these lipid nanoparticles.
Genomic vaccines really represent the transition of medicine from an analog technology to a digital technology.
But really to make the next step, exploit the benefit of this technology, we recognized that manufacturing these particles, discovering them, developing them, scaling them, was hindering the field.
that transformation, the impact that will have on medicine is akin to what digital technology transformations have had in other industries.
This is really where we stepped outside our own network, our own comfort zone, if you like, and looked to the technology being developed by Carl Hansen in his lab, where he was applying microfluidics, the control of fluids at very small scales, to tackle a range of biological problems.
So coming together with Danaher through the acquisition of Precision Nanosystems, we're able to provide deep solutions for our customers and really enable the cutting edge technology we've developed here at Precision Nanosystems, and to really scale that and bring that out into the community in a much bigger way.
Within a very short period of time and a few experiments, we quickly saw that there was potential for this technology to overcome the challenges that we faced. And then really from that point onwards, it was how can we apply that technology so that it's relevant all the way through to production of products that would meet a need such as
the mRNA vaccines for COVID have really demonstrated what this technology can do and the power of the technology.
Now we are here celebrating our success, but it wasn't all foosball and beanbags. There was some real lows as well as big highs here, and so I think those early in their careers who think they can make this step to make this step. Because frankly, what's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work, but I will tell you that you will learn a hell of a lot.
So it really is a fantastic time in medicine today, fantastic time to be in biotechnology, and I think we'll see progress faster, more efficient, more effective than we've ever seen before.
All right, please join me in inviting Dr. James Taylor, co-founder and CEO, to the stage.
So thanks so much. We're extremely pleased to receive this award from our peers. It's fantastic. And before, it really would be remiss to say we mentioned Carl, but also Dr. Peter Cullis here today as a co-founding academic with you and myself. First off, I'd like to thank the Precision, So first off, I'd like to thank the Precision Nanosystems team, who is just an extremely talented group that's been working tremendously over the last decade to really bring and usher in this new wave of medicines, genomic medicines, and we work with hundreds of companies to make this happen. So the impact here from Vancouver is just tremendous. And then secondly, I'd really like to thank many of you in the room who aren't directly employed by Precision, but has helped us along the way, either through investors, stakeholders, working with us. There's just so many people here that have supported us over the years. And then also, I'd just like to say, the impact of this investment, this acquisition is tremendous, really allowing us to accelerate our impact on the world and impact on bringing these important medicines to patients, but also to continue to build here in Vancouver. We now have one of the world leading anchor companies in life science technology, having deep roots here, and also really anchoring and continuing to grow here. And so this is just the next step in our chapter, and we'll continue to grow and be a huge part globally in the world and here in Vancouver. So thank you very much.
Okay, and thank you, Canaccord Genuity and Precision Nanosystems team. Congratulations, and congratulations, Dr. Taylor. We're going to take a quick break, and you'll see me back here in a little while. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Or maybe you should be welcoming me back up here. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed dinner. We are going to carry on with the awards. So our next award is the Strategic Life Sciences Partner of the Year Award, which is going to be presented by AstraZeneca. Please join me in welcoming Ilias Iliopoulos, Director of Payer Engagement and Stakeholder Partnerships, to present this award. I can't see. Oh, there we go.
The good thing about virtual meetings is you don't need your readers because you can increase the font. So thank you, Wendy, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. There's perhaps never been a more exciting period of time when it comes to great medical advances and discoveries. From expanding our understanding about the complexities of disease to driving much earlier diagnosis to the discovery and development of breakthrough, targeted, and precision therapies. At AstraZeneca Canada, science is in our DNA and at the core of everything we do. As one of the country's leading biopharmaceutical companies, we are a science-led organization that pushes the boundaries of science to deliver life-changing medicines and transform the treatment of diseases like asthma, diabetes, cancer, and more. To deliver on our purpose, though, we can't do it alone. So we actively engage in mutually beneficial partnerships across many different Canadian stakeholder groups that help improve care and accelerate the delivery of life-changing medicines for patients in need. This unwavering belief and focus on the power of science is why I'm excited to announce the winner of this year's award. The Strategic Life Sciences Partner of the Year Award acknowledges the outstanding contributions of our partners who have significantly impacted the British Columbia life sciences sector in 2022. This award highlights the positive engagement, achievement through active agreements and collaborations in the life sciences sector in British Columbia. I am thrilled to announce that this year's winner is Genome British Columbia. Genome BC is a not-for-profit organization supporting world-class genomics research and innovation to grow globally competitive life sciences sectors and deliver sustainable benefits for British Columbia, Canada, and beyond. For more than 20 years, Genome BC has generated over $1.27 billion of investment in more than 498 genomics research and innovation projects, including over 1,000 collaborations with partners across BC and the globe. The organization's initiatives are improving the lives of people throughout BC by advancing healthcare in addition to addressing environmental and natural resource challenges. In addition to scientific programming, Genome BC works to integrate genomics into society by supporting responsible research and innovation and fostering an understanding and appreciation of the life sciences among educators, students, and the public. Now let's watch our award winners' video describing their journey in their own words.
We're really focused on research and innovation, and we always will be. But as an ecosystem builder in this province, we are really fortunate to have a very unique position.
We collaborate quite a lot internally, and we bring our strengths. Each team brings their strength into the work that we do. And so this award really embodies that spirit, where Genome BC gets to bring our best into the life science ecosystem that we serve.
We like to be curious so that we understand our partners' challenges and needs.
We get to take risk, assume some risk that other organizations and government may not be able to do.
We like to be creative so that we can find win-win solutions for both them and us.
Really try and think about how we can be innovative, how we can try new things, and then potentially look to scale them up so that they can really be impactful for the rest of society.
We want to be flexible because we know things change.
That nimbleness, that boldness, we have to keep doing that. We have to do more of that, and we need to identify the best opportunities to do that through our partners and making sure that we're always there in a supportive role.
and we can act quickly if we need to, like we did with our COVID rapid response program.
It came together very quickly. It supported local companies, local labs, collaborated and communicated in a way that enhanced the scientific research that we were trying to do. We supported all of these people coming together. It's through funding. And the outcomes and the impacts were extraordinary.
All of us care a lot about the impact that we create and wanting our work to be meaningful. So it's amazing to be recognized as a strategic partner in the life science ecosystem.
Users, end users, whether that be government, whether that be the health authorities, whether that be our industry partners, are really able to use it and provide solutions to society.
Please help me in welcoming in person this year after 2 years, Michelle Crown, Research and Innovation Manager, to the stage, who will be accepting the award on behalf of Genome BC.
Good evening, colleagues and partners. My name is Michelle Crown, and I'm a Research and Innovation Manager, and I am thrilled to be accepting this award on behalf of our staff, our executives, and Board of Directors. A special thank you to James Taylor and Precision Nanosystems for the nomination, and Life Sciences BC for the award. As an organization, Genome BC strives to be more than a funder. We value our role as a convener, a facilitator, and a catalyst in driving research and innovation in the life sciences sector. Building strategic partnerships is paramount to our vision and is reflected in the values that we try and demonstrate daily. This Strategic Life Sciences Partner Award means a lot to us because it comes from our peers and it recognizes our commitment to supporting partnerships and driving positive impact. Thank you for those early and last-minute conversation and engaging us on these seemingly crazy but always bold ideas, and giving us the opportunity to listen, learn, and support your innovation and your dreams. We love what we do, and we are committed to bringing our passion and values to all of your innovative ideas. We look forward to the future as we shape the life sciences ecosystem together. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a really good evening.
Okay. Thank you, AstraZeneca, and big congratulations to the Genome BC team. And Michelle, extremely well done. Congratulations. Okay, our next award is the Emerging Life Sciences Company of the Year Award, and it is presented by Abcelera. So please join me in welcoming Ann Stevens, Vice President of Corporate Development, who's going to present the award.
Hi, thank you, Wendy, and great to see everybody tonight. I was just thinking it feels like we're at a family reunion here after so long of not seeing everybody. I feel incredibly privileged tonight to be representing Abcelera as the sponsor and past recipient of the Emerging Life Sciences Company of the Year Award. Abcelera has been committed to grow and scale here in Vancouver, carrying out a vision of providing partners with a seamless integration from discovery through to clinic to get new antibody therapies to patients faster. We are proud to be an active contributor to the local life sciences ecosystem as a growing anchor company born and raised here in BC. When you look around this room, every single company is driven by a shared purpose, a desire to make an impact and contribute to human health and well-being. We're all here to make a difference. I've known the recipient of tonight's award since their early days, and it's clear that they share these same values. Their tenacity, conviction, and dedication remain an essential part of their success. The Emerging Life Sciences Company of the Year Award recognizes the life sciences company in British Columbia whose accomplishments stood out with a strong overall performance. This performance may be measured by achieving major milestones, such as moving the business from an early stage to a more mature company, by raising significant funds, launching a product on the market, or achieving or nearing commercial success. I'm proud to announce this year's recipient is Eupraxia Pharmaceuticals. Eupraxia is a Victoria-based clinical stage biotechnology company focused on the development of locally delivered extended-release alternatives to currently approved drugs. Each of Eupraxia's product candidates has the potential to address therapeutic areas with high unmet medical need and strives to provide improved patient benefits by delivering targeted, long-lasting activity with fewer side effects. Eupraxia's lead product candidate is currently in phase 2 development for the treatment of pain due to osteoarthritis of the knee. Eupraxia is also developing a pipeline of earlier stage, long-acting formulations. The potential pipeline candidates include a range of drugs for indications such as post-surgical pain and post-surgical site infections, each designed to improve on the activity and tolerability of approved drugs. Now let's watch our award winners' video describing their journey in their own words.
In my previous life, when I did a heart transplant, I helped one patient at a time. And now every moment, every idea, and everything you execute has the opportunity to help millions of patients. And that's incredibly motivating, gratifying. It's a real privilege. So Eupraxia has essentially a platform technology. So we have the ability to be able to create these almost sort of grains of sand that deliver using diffusion. Traditionally, this sort of drug delivery uses degradation. So it's quite imprecise and sort of has these peaks and troughs. And what we've been able to do is to be able to generate something that can deliver at a very steady state for a long period of time, and something that's very tunable. Co-founded Eupraxia in late 2012 after I left my clinical practice. Partnered with my co-founder Amanda Malone, our Chief Scientific Officer, with the goal of really changing the way we deliver drugs. These little microspheres, they deliver wherever we put them, and they stay wherever we put them. So what that means is that if you can see a tumor on imaging and you can get a needle into it, we can deliver the therapy there. And then once we're there, that drug will deliver at the rate that we want, at the dose that we want, for the period of time that we want. So this could mean 6 months, 1 year from a single injection. It's been a variety of things in a few different dimensions that we can be especially proud of. One of them is that we were actually the first biotech IPO onto the Toronto Stock Exchange Big Board in the last 18 years. What that capital did was enabled us to really vault to the next level in our clinical program with our osteoarthritis lead asset, and also has enabled us to be able to really expand our platform technology into other areas. So while our lead asset is in osteoarthritis, and we look to be able to have serious impact in gastrointestinal disease, in oncology, and a variety of other places where precision delivery and targeted delivery is incredibly important, both for outcomes as well as for safety and tolerability. Going from an operating room to a boardroom, I needed a lot of help. And it was amazing how in the BC community, how many people stepped up and were willing to take the time to answer my silly questions when I was lost and didn't know what I was doing. And that as we grow, we can hopefully give back to others the way we were given to when we were starting.
To accept the award on behalf of Eupraxia Pharmaceuticals, please help me in welcoming Dr. James Halliwell, CEO, to the stage.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Wendy, to Life Sciences BC for having everybody here. As you heard there, I left a clinical practice And when I look out at this room, what I see are all the people who actually helped. And it's absolutely incredible to have this kind of community around. So I have big thank you to Amanda Malone, my co-founder, who, when I went to her with the ideas, did not tell me I was an idiot. To Simon Pimstone, my chairman and good friend, who did tell me I could probably make better decisions than start a biotech company, but has been by my side absolutely every step of the way, keeping me out of potholes as much as he can. And to the rest of my board of directors, from John Montalbano, Richard Glickman, Paul Geyer, and Michael Wilmink, and so many people in this room. I'm just so grateful. This award is really for the incredible team that I have at Eupraxia, and for all of you who've helped. So I just want to say thank you very much, and to Life Sciences BC for just being an incredible support. So thank you.
Okay, congratulations, James, the entire Eupraxia team, and thank you, Absalera, for presenting the award. Our next award is the Milton Wong Award for Leadership. This award is going to be presented by Johnson & Johnson, and it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Lasha Babiak, Head of Government Affairs for J&J Canada.
Thank you very much, Wendy. Further to Wendy's earlier acknowledgement, I too would like to acknowledge the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Scale-Wamtuf nations, which Vancouver is situated on. Also, as a Ukrainian Canadian, I really want to express my appreciation for the Government of Canada and Government of BC's efforts to welcome and support refugees from Ukraine. And I'm very proud of the efforts of Johnson & Johnson and other life sciences sector companies which have been on the ground in Ukraine, Poland, and other European countries around Ukraine to support Ukrainian families fleeing the war with Russia. Slava Ukraini. Milton Wong was an inspiration, an incredible man, and a tireless supporter of life sciences in British Columbia and Canada. This award pays tribute to his memory and to a significant and long-standing contribution to our industry. This award recognizes outstanding leadership in making a significant contribution towards the development of the sector in this fine province. Tonight, we are highlighting the accomplishments of a person who has impacted and strengthened relationships with the entire life science ecosystem in BC, also in Canada, emerging as among the leading advocates in the region and on the national stage. This year's winner is Admira Bioinnovations, under the leadership of its president and CEO, Gordon McCauley. Delighted that Matt Carlisle is here with us tonight. Canada and BC are primed to lead the life sciences world. To make this a reality, the Admira Bioinnovations team uses its scientific and commercial expertise, specialized R&D infrastructure, and seed capital to build strong life sciences companies, robust ecosystems, and industry-ready talent. The power of their model is the reinvestment of the company's returns back into the Canadian ecosystem to ensure it is sustained for the long term. It's been a privilege to serve with Gord as co-chair of the Life Sciences Strategy Council of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, a relatively new council that the Chamber of Commerce has established, recognizing the importance of the life sciences sector to not just the health of Canadians, but also the economy of Canada. Gord and my work have brought together the full spectrum of Canadian life sciences industry from every region of Canada. I've seen firsthand how Gordon's energy and dedication is supporting the advancement of the domestic life sciences sector. He's been a big part of forging consensus on needed policy priorities across the diverse set of members. It's been a pleasure to work with him and learn from him over the last number of months. And I'm very optimistic that these national efforts will leave a lasting mark on the Canadian business environment for our industry, which is a fantastic result for our sector, for BC, and also for Canada. Let's now watch a video from Gordon describing Admari's journey in his own words.
When you think about the kind of leadership that was required 25 years ago in an industry that really didn't exist, to have people step forward and convince others to get excited about the opportunity, that is extraordinary leadership. So I think it's really important that we recognize the pioneers in this industry, like Milton Wong, amongst so many others. So Admari does three things. We build companies, we build ecosystems, and we build talent. Each of those things we do in partnership with other people, and we do with real commercial intent and commercial focus. How can we help build the ecosystem in British Columbia and in Canada? When you look at companies, for example, our team has a great track record of working with other folks. We've helped create 27 companies that have attracted $1.4 billion worth of real risk capital, that are worth about $3 billion and employ about 1,000 Canadians. Last year alone, we spent $4.5 million in British Columbia alone helping develop companies. About a third of our effort happened in British Columbia. About a third of the participants in our Executive Institute, about a third of the participants in the Bioinnovation Scientist Program were in British Columbia. So it's incredibly important that we build on the strength that we have in BC, but also help build that scale nationally as well. One of the things that was really exciting when Minister Champagne visited us a few months ago to announce the Government of Canada's commitment to Admari was he pointed out that this is the largest single investment that they have made in the ecosystem entirely. And that to me is pretty exciting and pretty cool. The commitment that the Government of Canada has made to building this ecosystem in British Columbia and across the country is pretty compelling. But the reason it's most exciting to me is that we're in the middle of a generational moment in this industry. We are hopefully near the end of a global pandemic that has clearly demonstrated the extraordinary value that this industry provides to Canada and to Canadians, as well as the things we need to do better. And we've seen public policymakers across the country agree that we may need to make very substantive investments to build the capacity of this industry. From our perspective, everything that Admari does, we do in partnership with others, and having originally grown out of the LSBC community, it's not a big surprise that we're pretty good at it, because LSBC is pretty good at working together, as the industry across the country demonstrated in response to COVID.
Please join me in welcoming Matt Carlisle to receive the award on behalf of Admari. Matt.
Good evening, everyone. I am honored tonight to accept the Milton Wong Leadership Award on behalf of our 108 colleagues at Admari Bioinnovations. As you've just seen, 107 of us weren't able to secure a speaking spot in the video, so I'm thrilled to be up here representing them. Apparently a few of you know Gord, so I'm also the filling in a Helliwell sandwich, and if you don't know what that means, it'll make sense in about 5 minutes when our next award is presented. But let me get through this. This is an exciting time to be working in the life sciences sector, as evidenced by the energy in this room. The pandemic taught many lessons. Perhaps the most important one is that we have seen public policy makers, and more importantly, every Canadian, recognize how a strong Canadian life sciences sector is a fundamental element of our personal health and also a healthy economy. We need to seize the spirit of the pandemic when we all took action to protect each other and our communities. to encourage government, both federal and provincial, to continue to invest and support the incredible work and extraordinary research that scientists are doing in British Columbia and across Canada. Our team exists to partner with researchers, innovators, and industry to translate this extraordinary research into strong and sustainable Canadian life science companies. Of course, to build those companies, they need facilities to work in and talent to do that work. That's why we're so proud to work with the BC government in seeking to build flexible, wet lab space for emerging companies to grow and prosper. Our existing 200,000 square feet of space across Canada has been at full capacity for years. We know the demand that exists, and we're excited to try and meet it. And we're really proud of the work that our colleagues in the Admari Academy do to train and grow the skilled talent in the Canadian life sciences. Independent studies tell us we'll need approximately 40,000 new high-skilled personnel in this space over the next few years. We are proud to have over 500 alumni of the Admari Academy, and 96% of them work in industry today. Even so, there is so much more we need to do. We are deeply grateful for this recognition. More than that, however, we are deeply grateful for the partnership with academia, researchers, industry leaders, and public policy makers that are focused on improving the lives of Canadians. On behalf of our colleagues at Admari, okay, all 108 of them, even Gord, thank you for this recognition, and more importantly, thank you for the commitment, dedication, and excellence you bring to this industry every day. It's truly inspiring. Thank you.
You can even keep it for yourself if you want. Okay, thank you, Johnson & Johnson, and congratulations to Admari and Matt Carlisle, who may or may not share that award with 108 versus 107 people, so you can let us know how that goes. Next, I would like to call upon Peggy Johnston, Board Chair of Genome BC, to join me on stage to present the Genome BC Award for Scientific Excellence.
Thank you, Wendy. It's an honor to be here to present this award on behalf of Genome British Columbia. Genomics is no longer an emerging technology, where genomics was once a bastion of promise offering incredible possibilities for the future. The living technology has arrived and is now benefiting the economy and society. Likewise, Genome BC itself continues to evolve, from discovery to translation, and now increasingly to application. We work as a funder, a convener, and a collaborator to help build a world-class life sciences sector here in BC. And as you already heard tonight, for more than 20 years, Genome BC has generated over $1.27 billion of investment in nearly 500 research and innovation grants. New innovations lead to new industries, which lead to new jobs, which drive the economy. Innovation also enables traditional industries like mining and forestry to be more sustainable and competitive. This annual award is presented to an individual who has in the past year received significant national and international recognition in the field of genomics, proteomics, informatics, and/or systems biology, demonstrated a commitment to collaborative and interdisciplinary research, and achieved proven outcomes, benefits, and/or results. Which brings me to the recipient of this year's Genome BC Award for Scientific Excellence, Dr. Lachlan Fraser, an individual whose work embodies the concept that genomics is a living technology. Dr. Fraser is a community and ecosystem ecologist, is professor of senior NSERC Industrial Research Chair in Ecosystem Reclamation at Thompson Rivers University. His work in the field of genomics has been groundbreaking and has validated the utility of genomics in creating innovative solutions in environmental and life sciences. Among other accomplishments, Dr. Fraser has shown that the use of environmental DNA for biomonitoring at mine sites reduces monitoring costs and effort, and thus bolsters our economy. He's a pioneer in the field, deploying the power of genomics to protect people through the creation of safer environmental standards for the mining industry and enabling mines and other disturbed or contaminated sites in forest and farmers' fields do not pose a threat to human health. Dr. Fraser is also contributing to efforts to combat climate change, serving as chair of a group of Canadian climate leaders who published Acting on Climate Change, which is an action plan that outlines real, concrete steps Canada can take to mitigate impacts. For his many noteworthy accomplishments, Dr. Fraser is a very deserving recipient of this award. Now let's enjoy Dr. Longland's video describing his journey in his own words.
Often when we think about biodiversity, sometimes it's being referred to as the number of plants in a meadow or the number of fish in a lake, but actually, as a collective, it is everything, every single species within a landscape. What I'm most interested in is restoring and reclaiming disturbed ecosystems. Left to natural processes, these ecosystems could take centuries to return to their pre-disturbed condition. These disturbances can be caused by natural events, fire or flood, but they can also be caused by human intervention, mining, oil and gas, using genomic tools, being able to extract the DNA and understanding what's there, not only what's there in terms of the bacteria and the fungi, but also what their functional role is in the soil, allows me to map the trajectory of recovery. With our intervention, we can speed up that recovery process. My great-grandfather was a miner in the Caribou. You know, I still have notebooks that he wrote in the late 1800s on the daily gold take that his crew managed to acquire from that site. I sort of think, well, you know, that my great-grandfather did this, you know, over 100 years ago. This is an opportunity for me to come back and help to restore some of these areas that were actually disturbed.
Please welcome to the stage Dr. Lachlan Fraser.
Well, thank you very much. This is a great honor, and I'm very grateful to Life Sciences BC. Thank you, Wendy. And of course to Genome BC. I've worked with and been supported by Genome BC for a decade, from Gabe and Aniko at the beginning to Sally, Jenny, Brandon and Rahul, along with the leadership of Pascal and now, of course, Suzanne. Thank you. I work with a team of fantastic students and colleagues at Thompson Rivers University. I've always put my students first. We learn and grow together. Industry partnerships are critical in my field, and I'm fortunate to work with leaders in sustainability and environmental responsibility. Highland Valley Copper, New Afton, Copper Mountain Mine, Barkerville Gold Mine, Fortis BC, Arrow, Trans Mountain, as well as Geoscience BC, Metro Vancouver, and the BC Cattlemen. My father is with us tonight. Thanks, Dad. And I wouldn't be anything without the love and support of my family. My beautiful wife, Julia, and my 3 amazing children. It's a privilege to do the work I do, especially knowing it benefits my children and my children's children. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Genome BC, for presenting this award, as always, and to Dr. Lachlan Fraser, congratulations, and keep up the amazing work. Our next award is the Medical Technology Company of the Year Award. This is sponsored by St. Paul's Foundation and Providence Healthcare. Please join me in welcoming Brian Simmers, the Chief Financial Officer and Vice President of Health Informatics and Corporate Development, to the stage.
Thanks, Wendy. I'm sure you're wondering why is the CFO here to talk to you all. But more than a CFO, amazing to be here to talk to you. Wanted to tell you about Providence Health, supported by St. Paul's Foundation, is a 17-site healthcare system with acute hospitals, long-term care homes, community clinics, and research and lab facilities. It's home to over 7,000 staff, over 1,100 physicians, roughly 250 researchers and principal investigators, and 11 Canada Research Chairs. The organization and its people are driven by compassion and social justice to be at the forefront of exceptional care and innovation. Providence is where Dr. John Webb and his team pioneered the TAVI procedure, making cardiac valve implantation possible without open heart surgery. We are also home to Dr. Julio Montaner and his team at the Center for Excellence in HIV/AIDS, who have been instrumental in taking HIV from a death sentence to a manageable disease. We are a founding member of the Digital Technology Supercluster, and have participated in 5 impactful projects to date. We've launched Providence Healthcare Ventures, our business and venture arm. We've created an umbrella program called Innovarium 360, and will provide programs and infrastructure to connect internal and external stakeholders to nurture innovation and disruptive ideas that will improve and transform care, especially for people with complex medical and social service needs. The new $2.1 billion St. Paul's Hospital is already under construction. And in addition to the new hospital, the 18-acre campus will feature a connected, state-of-the-art research and innovation complex about twice the size of the current St. Paul's. It will be a hub for transformational research and unprecedented opportunity for collision and collaboration. We are bringing research from the bench to the bedside to the marketplace. These world-leading outcomes and others have been achieved by working closely with industry, academia, government, and other partners, many of whom are here tonight, to co-develop solutions and build this ecosystem. It's such a pleasure to be here to announce the 2022 Medical Technology Company of the Year. This year's winner has deep connections with Providence. We helped them pilot their software at St. Paul's, and we were one of their first customers, one of their first paying customers. Providence looks forward to continuing to play an important role in the evolution of this company. The Medical Technology Company of the Year Award is presented to an early-stage life science company which, although not yet achieving commercial success, has demonstrated outstanding performance and realized significant milestones in 22 season and is positioned well for future commercial success. The winning company must be headquartered in BC and have a proven ability to secure capital and a key market position. The winner of this award must be positioned to achieve strong business results in the future, and we are proud to announce this year's winner is Thrive Health. Thrive Health was founded in 2016 by a diverse group of patients, clinicians, researchers, patients, and students, and parents as well, who came together to help individuals going through complex care journeys. The company's platform enables its customers to configure digital health and wellness solutions to deepen their relationships and empower individuals in their care. Thrive Health operates across North America. It's headquartered in BC and is on a mission to serve as a catalyst in the transformation of access to efficient, effective, empowered care for everyone. Congratulations to Thrive Health. And now let's watch a video describing their journey in their own words. Thank you.
The initial idea for Thrive Health actually came while two of us were out on stand-up paddleboards off the beach in Dunderave and having a brainstorming session about what we thought was most important to be done out there. And we pretty quickly came to fixing elements of the healthcare system where people get lost through the cracks. We saw so few technologies that were really being applied to make that work better. So typically the journey that an individual has when they use Thrive is they interact with an organization that's adopted our platform. So that means we've got two types of value, right? For an individual, it means you're going to actually be empowered to have your own health information, know where you are in the system and what's coming, and what are the things you can do to make your outcomes better or your family members' outcomes better. People can share their information. So that's a pretty big deal. And then from the organization perspective, for hospitals, health systems, it allows them to make way more efficient use of their resources. We started for people going in for surgery, but it can work for any interaction with the healthcare system. And then depending on what your assessment says and what your test results are, you're going to have different journeys, different pathways through the system that are going to touch different parts of it. Through COVID, where everybody found themselves in some type of a healthcare journey and everybody needed to do assessments for symptoms or rapid screening or whatever, that certainly accelerated our plans by going from, we had 10 or 20,000 people on the platform before COVID. Now we've had over 15 million. We think that we can play a small role in really transforming how things work. So there's not such a massive divide between when you're in the system and dealing with the doctor's office and when you're in the rest of your life. For the last 25 years, my dad's been a happiness researcher. He's an economist. He writes the World Happiness Report every year. And I've wanted to bring that into the delivery of healthcare. So that's why we chose the name Thrive, of really bringing, mental and physical health together to not just be, not sick, but to thrive.
To accept the award on behalf of Thrive Health, please help me welcoming David Helliwell, co-founder and executive board chair, to the stage.
Thanks very much. So at Thrive Health, we're all about stories. And just hearing the talking about Milt Wong a few minutes ago, I don't know how many of you knew Milt, but he was all about the dialogical process and stories. And in 2006, Milt, he was a friend and mentor of mine for about 10 years, and he said, David, you need to start a company that's doing healthcare for older people. I said, okay, Milt. And then, anyway, in 2006, I started a clean tech company. But 10 years later, we sold the clean tech company, and finally, we started Thrive Health to really do something to make healthcare work better. And the stand-up paddleboard trip that was mentioned on the in the video, the two of us, Greg Kerfoot and I, we didn't actually know anything about how the healthcare system worked and what doctors cared about, and just minor details for starting a health tech company. So that's where my brother James comes in, and that's hence Matt's referral to the Helliwell sandwich. I'm the crusty heel older brother on the Helliwell sandwich, and the tasty bread and meat are you've already seen them. I won't go any further with any of those metaphors. but you know, so we really wanted to do something that was going to have an impact. So you know, whiteboards, got some ideas, hired some software developers. You know, Karen, who's here, was one of our very first people, still running finance. And then the trick is, how the heck do you find someone who's going to actually do this stuff with you? That's where Providence came in, because really we had 0 users. It was, some of the stuff didn't even exist, and you know, we didn't pretend it did exist, but you know, just to have partners like Providence to start with us for, you know, and we'd celebrate every time a patient came on. We'd ring a bell. You know, now there are about 100,000 Providence patients in the platform, and we're doing a lot more. So it's exciting, and it's quite something to be a part of this community of Life Sciences BC as a digital health company and a bunch of software geeks. And you know, just wanted to thank Wendy and Ali and the team and Scott for really welcoming us into this fold. And you know, James, I'm thinking we maybe should have invited Mom and Dad, because we're never going to have something like this again. I don't think. Yeah. Yeah. So, and finally, obviously, just thanking the whole Thrive team for helping us to do something really special, and thanks for putting up with us.
Congratulations. Thanks. And either way you want. Okay, thank you very much, St. Paul's and Providence Healthcare. A huge congratulations to David and the entire Thrive team. It's an extraordinary accomplishment. And now it's dessert. Hello, everyone. Okay, we are on the home stretch. Okay. There is a part of me that feels badly telling people that they have to keep listening to me, but we are on the home stretch, and it really brings me great joy to see how happy everybody is to reconnect with each other. So thank you all for being here again. It's really wonderful to feel the energy in the room and see everybody having such a great time. So I also thank you. We've got 2 more awards. We are on the home stretch, and then I will not bother you again to stop networking and meeting old friends and new friends. Yes, sit down. Okay. So we're moving on to the final 2 awards. Our next award is the Dr. Don Ricks Lifetime Achievement Award. Presenting this award is Hector McKay Dunn, partner at Farris. And tonight's event would not be possible without Farris, who's, as we know, a leading Canadian law firm, instrumental, is a founding sponsor of this event. So Hector, please join me on the stage.
Well, hello everyone. On behalf of my partner James Hatton, here, we just got to say that we're so happy to be here together again in person after 24 years. So this is a great night. And we also want to say that I think now with COVID and so on, that we've reflected a lot over the last few years, and just to say that how much we really enjoy working with all of you. Founders, scientists, investors, From your earliest stages of formation through the grunt years of raising money with friends and family, and then the venture capitalists who we love, of course, and the partnering deals that James is so good at, licensing and getting you on your way, your initial public and follow-on offerings, and your M&A deals on the buy and sell side. We've really enjoyed working with you. But I also want to take a moment, I don't want to shock you, but really a tip of the hat to all of our colleagues that are here from the accounting, legal, regulatory, and investment banking space. You know, all of us together, you make such a great contribution to our community. It makes us the vibrant life sciences community that we are, and all of you in your own way support and sponsor. I know life sciences is not just us, by no means. All of you do, and each of you are here, and so I just want to recognize you and thank you for all of your support. And so tonight, it's our honor to present the Don Ricks Award to one of the great champions of our community, Dr. Simon Pimstow. Now, I'm only allowed 3 minutes, and I've already burned too much of that time, so I really can't do Simon justice. And you can't really do justice to a lifetime career that's still in full swing. So, but I'll just try to mention a few, and I'm sure there's much more to come, Simon. So Simon, back in the day, received his medical degree from the University of Cape Town, his PhD in cardiovascular genetics from the University of Amsterdam, and his internal medicine specialty designation for our own UBC. Simon has published widely and continues to consult with the UBC Cardiology Clinic, which he helped found, and is founder and PI for Safer BC, which is the provincial COVID restriction traction study program, and of Save BC, the provincial program dedicated to the prevention of premature coronary artery disease. Simon is a serial entrepreneur and mentor. Over the past 2 decades, in an operating or board chair role, Simon has helped found multiple private and public life sciences companies, including Xenon, Euphraxia Pharmaceuticals, Alpha 9 Theranostics, and most recently, Zion Health. And Simon has mentored countless employees and students all along the way. These companies have employed many hundreds of people in BC and brought into BC approximately $1 billion in private and public equity, as well as strategic business development financings. This is where the next point, though, is one that really touches my heart. Simon is a passionate policy and industry advocate. Simon has served on numerous industry and healthcare boards, notably as chair of our own Life Sciences BC, as well as Providence Healthcare Research Trust, and vice chair of Biotech Canada. He has played advisory roles to the Michael Smith Foundation for Health Research and the Center for Molecular Medicine and Therapeutics, and he's co-chaired the internationally recognized Science, Technology, and Innovation Council State of the Nation report for the federal government. Whenever an urgent policy issue arises or helping hand is needed, Simon has led or answered the call to serve, passionately and effectively, selflessly giving of his time each and every time without fail. And always, and you'll see that tonight, with that engaging charm and welcoming smile. So now let's watch and listen to Simon in his own words.
I came out here in 1994 to do a clinical fellowship and ended up getting a PhD in genetics and then went on to specialize in internal medicine. And that was really the beginning. From there, founded a company with colleague Dr. Michael Hayden. It's been a great inspiration for me. In and around 99, 2000, our first financings, and here we are 22 years later, overnight success. So this Don Ricks Lifetime Achievement Award is an incredible honor for me, and it's an honor for me in particular because of the Don Ricks component. What many may not know, but Don was a very early investor, in fact one of the earliest investors in Xenon, and I remember actually sitting in Don's office. It was one of my first investment pitches I'd ever made, fresh out of internal medicine training, and what did I know? And I remember Don saying to me, "I know your friends Hayden and Holler," those were other founders of Xenon at the time, "don't know you. You seem a good guy." And on that basis, Don invested in the company. So he really is part of our legacy at Xenon. Probably the standout organizational success has been the development of a drug at Xenon, which we call XEN1101. It's a drug for a seizure form of epilepsy known as focal onset seizures. We have many, many men and women who've been on this drug now, many that are still on this drug in open label trials, who came into the trial with daily seizures, who now seizure free. The ability to bring a medicine into a patient's life that can change their outcome for the benefit of them and their family, it has to be that. It has to be, together with our team, developing a medicine that can impact people's lives so profoundly. I started on a new venture after Xenon. We have set up what I think will be the leading men's health and wellness brand with a focus on hair. Humor's not lost on me. Hair loss company with a CEO who doesn't have any. And so we came up with a really exquisite gel, which we've called Siloxis System, which essentially traps medicines in a mesh-like structure in a gel on the skin. So medicines like finasteride, for example, where you want to limit the absorption into the body. And by doing so, we limit the systemic exposure of these medicines and reduce the side effect profile. So I see a lot of young investigators who come for advice. I really have two key sets of advice for them. One is invest in yourself, put in the time, put in the effort, put in the work. The second piece of advice is be resilient. You are going to have failures in life. You are going to have failures in your work. Just make sure you learn from those failures. Failure is important. Be resilient, and at the end of the day, things will be okay. There's a saying I've always lived by. It'll all be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Keep going.
Please join me in welcoming Dr. Simon Pinstone to the stage.
Thanks so much, Hector. It's actually amazing that we're standing here together, Hector, after 20, 25 years of collaboration in this community. And it's actually more amazing that both you and I are actually still standing at all, to be frank. It's a great privilege and pleasure to be here to accept this honor tonight. And thanks to Wendy and the lapse in judgment of your adjudicators. I'm very, very grateful for that. And for those men in the audience who think baldness is a prerequisite for one of these awards, just it isn't. Ask Doug Jansen or Carl Hansen or James Taylor, Michael Hayden. It's truly not a prerequisite. But we now have something we can help you with. So it's, when I think about a minute to say something or have an impact without being Will Smith-like, I wanted to at least spend a minute just acknowledging really a village that's been part of this journey with me. And I like to think about awards like these as not about me, not about you, it's about us. None of these types of awards are possible, vaguely possible, without the partnership. And I've been just very, very fortunate. Some of this is a lot of luck. Been very, very fortunate to be partnered with incredible people along the way. James Helliwell and John Maltabano and the crowd at Eupraxia, it's been a fantastic journey. My new family at Zion with Victor Hassan and Christina Hahn and Sean Alley, Herman Benedetti. And of course, my 21-year-old family at Xenon, without whom I certainly would not be up here. Table 16, led by Ian Mortimer, Shelley McCloskey, Jay, Rostam, Sherry, Alex, Robin. Paul Goldberg's there, worked with us for many, many years. And of course, early founders and great friends of mine, Frank Holler and Michael Hayden, who've both been incredible inspirations to me personally and of course to my career. I'd like to just thank and acknowledge my mom, Millie, my late father, Bernard. They really laid the foundation upon which I walk. Dear, dear friend Milton Shane, and Milton and Millie flew from Cape Town to be here tonight. What Jewish mother, as I was going to say, what Jewish mother wouldn't take the opportunity to see her son get an award and fly across the world? I think she'd fly to the moon to see one of her kids get an award and probably still complain, so atmosphere's not too great, but anyway. Nonetheless, I wanted just to leave perhaps the best to last, because for me, actually, my lifetime achievement are my two daughters, Talia and Mila, and it's not a day of award, it's been a lifetime. And so you two girls are truly have given me the gift of parenthood, but have given me the magic, absolute magic of unconditional love. And I hope what you two have seen here tonight has been the power of partnership, the power of community, the power of collaboration. And we can all do little things and be successful on our own, but we can achieve so much together. So thank you very much for everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Farris, and thank you, Dr. Pimstone. One of the first times I met Simon was on an email that started with 8 people, and within 8 hours had 185 people on it. And Simon said, Wendy, LSBC should take the lead in collecting all the PPE from the labs that are closing in academia and research. And Simon, really, you initiated an effort that brought our community together and had a significant impact from March 14th to March 17th, when the world was going a little bit crazy and we all of a sudden started collecting PPE. And Simon opened up his warehouse, and all of you that contributed, whether you were businesses, academic labs, or research centers, no one has ever called me and asked me to replace any of that equipment. So thank you. As a community, we came together and showed how we can do that, and that was under Simon's leadership. Or maybe your convincing personality, but one way or the other, it all happened. Our final award of the evening is actually a one-time recognition award, a very special award that LSBC wanted to bring together, and we're calling it the Global Impact Award. And here to present it is Ali Ardikani from Novature Ventures. Ali has a huge commitment into our sector. Last week, he was named the new chair of the board. So welcome, Ali. Look forward to the next 3 years. I don't know how many years you've been on the board, but we're looking forward to his leadership and his continued commitment into this sector.
What a dramatic music. All right. First of all, thank you for all of you for being here tonight. This is what a magnificent moment to be here after 2.5 years of pandemic. And the award tonight goes to someone who has made it possible to bring down the lockdowns. But before I introduce him, I do want to acknowledge a couple of things. First of all, thank you, LSBC. The management of LSBC is a very small group that has made this possible. Thank you, Wendy and the team. A round of applause, please. Thank you, our community. Each and every one of you is making an impact. Think of everything you do, every moment you spend, every moment you think about what you do is making impact on patients worldwide, which is why we are here. And we always punch above our weight every time. Thank you. Couple of other notes. We live in a world that's very uncertain. Freedom should not be taken for granted. We're free to pursue what we love and what we can do. We should really appreciate that. Our healthcare system should not be taken for granted. I think COVID showed that. Our healthcare system is as important as our army. We need to invest in it. I encourage our government to invest in it more than ever, into looking into all the technologies that we have, engage us more. And last but not least, I want to make sure that we understand that we celebrate the culture of failure. Not everything can be successful. I met Peter Cullis when INEX was shutting down back in 2004. He actually mentored me and gave me some words of encouragement to what I should do with my career. And look at him now. So I'm going to introduce him. But we really should celebrate that this is a business that many things will go wrong before they go right. And we need to celebrate it. So, the life sciences sector has received worldwide recognition for its innovation throughout the pandemic. While there are several BC companies and individuals who have made and continue to make meaningful contributions in scientific entrepreneurship and advancement of life sciences research through Global Impact Award, I'm proud to announce that the recipient of this award this year is Dr. Peter Cullis. So get ready for an exciting biography. Dr. Peter Cullis is the Director of Nanomedicine's Research Group, Professor of Department of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology at University of British Columbia. Dr. Cullis and co-workers have been responsible for fundamental advancements in the development of nanomedicines, employing lipid nanomedicines and nanoparticles, LNP, technology for cancer therapies, gene therapies, and vaccines. This work has contributed to 5 drugs that have received clinical approval and have reached patients worldwide. Dr. Cullis has co-founded 11 biotechnology companies and that now employ over 300 people, has published over 350 scientific articles, and is an innovator in over 60 patents. Dr. Cullis has also co-founded 3 non-for-profit enterprises, including Center for Research and Development, now known as MARE, in 2004, the Nanomedicines Innovation Network in 2019. Dr. Cullis has received numerous awards, including the Order of Canada in 2021, and the VinFuture Prize, and the Prince Mahidol Award for the Gardner International Award in 2022. 2 recently approved drugs that are enabled by lipid nanoparticle delivery systems devised by Dr. Cullis and his colleagues at UBC are, the first one is Onpattro, which was approved by US FDA in August of 2018 to treat previously fatal hereditary condition transthyretin-induced amyloidosis. Onpattro is the first, actually, it's the first RNA drug to receive regulatory approval. The second one, probably in most of us, is Comirnaty, the COVID-19 vaccine developed by Pfizer-BioNTech that has received regulatory approval in many jurisdictions, including Canada, US, UK, and Europe. Comirnaty is playing a major role in containing global COVID-19 pandemic. According to Pfizer, as of June 2022, 3.6 billion doses of this vaccine has been administered in 180 countries. This is British Columbia making global impact. For those of you who received this vaccine, including myself and my family, which is actually most Canadians, now can appreciate that a piece of Peter Collis's invention and innovation is in each and every one of us. And we are here tonight because of his life-saving vaccine helped us end the lockdowns and get together and celebrate. Now let's watch our award-winning video describing his journey in his own words. Thank you.
It's kind of a long story. Well, it's a very long story.
30 years.
40 years. We go back to 1980, really. So I got a PhD in physics in 1972 from UBC. Problems in physics didn't seem that interesting to me, let's put it that way, and the problems outside physics, particularly in the life sciences, were fascinating. I applied for a postdoc to go to Oxford, and amazingly I got it. I'd never taken a biochemistry course in my life, and I still haven't actually. Anyway, there's a huge variety of these lipids, and some of them, if you take them out of the membrane and you look at the properties, just put them back into water, they don't adopt the bilayer structure, which is obviously what you need to keep this permeability barrier. So we became curious as to what they do. I've spent about 30 years, really, looking at these very, very basic properties of lipids and membranes. You know, I mean, how many doses last year? 3 billion doses for the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. Unbelievable, right? I mean, there's estimates that it saved 10 million lives in 2021 alone. So the impact here is rather huge. You know, people sometimes ask, well, how does it feel to have been part of that? So as far as I'm concerned, I just say, well, it's pretty good. We've had this impact from something we started, literally a group that I had in 1982. Mick Hope, Tom Madden, Marcel Bally, and Lawrence Mayer were the people that we started this whole thing with. We're still working together after all these years, and we've had one hell of an impact, and that makes me feel pretty good. This is a story, really, that has a lot to do with the ionizable lipids and how well they performed, all of which came from very basic experiments trying to understand lipid asymmetry in membranes. This is causing a revolution in medicine because we now have the ability to treat disease in a completely different way. It's almost like a vaccine for atherosclerosis that's coming along. This is work that Acuitas has been doing with a company in Boston called Verve. We can see obvious ways now of treating diseases such as Alzheimer's and Huntington's and Parkinson's, etc. The eye, and direct injection into the eye, we can have gene therapy. We now have lipid nanoparticle systems that can access the bone marrow. The potential for cancer vaccines, for example, is huge. I mean, the personalized cancer vaccines. So the list goes on and on and on. Aside from the realm of the range of diseases that one can treat, is the speed you can do it. Once you know what protein it is that you need to replace, then you can synthesize the messenger RNA or the small interfering RNA a month or two. You can package it in a day or two, and you have this exquisitely targeted, personalized medicine for an individual. It's the most amazing time in medicine. So these are things that are very exciting. Yeah, I'm not stopping anytime soon. You're exactly right.
Awesome. We'll cut there. That's perfect ending too.
Please help me welcoming Dr. Collis to the stage.
All right, jeepers. Anyway, after listening to Matt Carlisle, I feel a little bad. It's way worse than being one of 108. I mean, really, I'm one of 1,008 and probably many more than that. But anyway, I just want to thank Ally very much. I mean, jeepers. I have a whole minute to make a few remarks, and you feed somebody 4 or 5 glasses of wine, and then you get them to make a speech. This is kind of a recipe for disaster. Anyway, and the second thing is that until I was notified I won it, I didn't know, and this was alluded to before, that Life Sciences BC actually had a Global Impact Award. So I suspect nobody else was nominated for this award. Anyway, I don't quite know how to phrase that, but I'm very grateful to I'm very grateful to LSBC for this recognition, not least because it really allows me to recognize some of the 1,008 or 2,000. Anyway, the people who contribute so much to making Vancouver the center of the world, really, for lipid nanoparticles. All this started, as I think it was said in some way in the video, way back in the early 1980s, when Mick Hope, Marcel Bally, Lawrence Mayer, Tom Madden, and I started a company to sell an instrument. There's a company called Lipix Biomembranes, and to sell an instrument that we called the extruder to make lipid nanoparticles. And it was a postdoc. It was a lab, me and 4 postdocs. And anyway, we thought this was great fun. And I want to emphasize that starting companies is fun, except when it isn't. So we took great delight in appointing all of us to the board of directors, and I took even greater delight in being the chairman of the board. I really like that title. I mean, come on, what a jeepers, Frank Sinatra and all of that. But anyway, we knew that all serious. We tried to be serious occasionally, and they have to have serious companies have to have a mission statement. This is everybody you talk to anybody forming company got to have a mission statement. So okay, well, wow. So we came up with the best one that I've ever encountered, which was free beer every Friday, and parties whenever possible. And one of my one of my proudest achievements is that nobody in my lab has paid for a beer since, and we've had some unforgettable. Well, some parties we can't quite remember, but we've had some really unforgettable parties. And and also in one way or another, I'm still working with Mick and Tom and Marcel and Lawrence. It's one of the things that certainly I'm most proud of. The building and keeping a team together, and we have to remember that in the global context or not the global context, but the local context of Vancouver. We need to build these teams. We need to build this community, and we need to build. We can do great things if you keep a committed group of people together, and I think we've proven that. The most important, of course, is to have a lot of fun doing it, and that's also, I think, what we've managed to do. So together, we founded more than, well, as I said, 11 companies, whatever number. Now employ, actually it's 400, not 300. Sure. This is, and they represent a market capital that's well in excess of $1 billion. And when the world needed saving, we came up with the lipid nanoparticles that enabled the COVID-19 vaccines. Not bad. Not bad, eh? Whoa! It's really embarrassing to be given credit for this when, there's a table over there. Acuitas did this, I co-founded it along with Tom and Mick. But, it's amazing how the, things you start off can have such big ramifications. And so it's an amazing thing to do. So I'm going to have to pay particular tributes to Precision Nanosystems and Acuitas Therapeutics. They've also, of course, been honored here tonight. James Taylor, Ewan Ramsey, Carl Hansen, and I started Precision in 2010. I approached Carl and I said, I want a better way to mix stuff to make lipid nanoparticles. That was exactly what I said. And Carl said, well, microfluidic mixing is the way to go. And I said, microfluidic mixing, doesn't that mean we get microliters? You know, I mean, jeepers. But anyway, it's turned out that it was. And then James Taylor came along and he said to me, I want to be a CEO. Oh, okay, let's see that. And I thought, okay, well, this talented, very talented guy. And then Ewan Ramsey came along and said, I'll write the grants. Well, it was totally irresistible. And so they've done an amazing job, and it's been, fantastic to be part of that journey. Now, Acuitas, wow, what a story. So many near-death experiences. Mick and Tom and I started INEX together with Lawrence and Marcel, actually, way back in 1992. This is after we got fired. This is one of these experiences you have to go through, and not always the best experience, but you have to look at the positive side. From a company we started called the Canadian Liposome Company, which was a subsidiary of a US-based in Princeton, New Jersey, company called the Liposome Company. They didn't appreciate our enormous talent, it was clear. Anyway, and then somewhat later, in 2008, we got fired again by new management that came into INEX. This was another one of the best things that could have possibly happened. You have no idea how grateful we are to. Tom and they know the history here. This was and Ying too. He knows it many times. There's history here that is quite remarkable. Anyway, very grateful for being fired. We developed through Acuitas lipid nanoparticles that were incredibly potent and got taken into the clinic by the company we were working with at the time called Alnylam Pharmaceuticals in 2013. And I have to say that one person who is not really acknowledged all that much, but really deserves a large part of the credit for this, is Marco Cipollini. He came up, this professor in the chemistry department at UBC, who came up with the lipids that actually really broke the structure. So Marco, stand up. You should really take some acknowledgement here. That was, as I say, the number of people that really contributed in a hugely significant way is legion. Then in 2013, Mick and Tom and the team at Acuitas showed that we could encapsulate messenger RNA, not just small interfering RNA, but messenger RNA. So we weren't just silencing a gene, we're expressing a gene. We could get great gene expression in the liver. You got to get lucky in life, I mean, okay, we've had a few places where we weren't. Getting fired wasn't bad. Anyway, we had a lot of good luck here because we were expressing proteins in the liver, and we got contacted by Drew Weissman, who's a prof at the University of Pennsylvania, who wanted to try our systems for lipid nanoparticles as vaccines. They worked remarkably well. The rest is history. But we weren't going in that direction at all. And it's just another point how you have to sort of get out there, and then stuff happens that you really can't prophesy. Anyway, so I've had very good luck, obviously, in my life to have worked with people like Mick and Tom and Marco. And I also want to give a tribute here to UBC. UBC has been obviously my home for, it's coming on for over 40 years now, and has been enormously supportive in this process, and deserves a huge amount of the credit for what we've managed to do. We certainly have many war stories, as I've sort of alluded to, but as anybody has who's really tried to make a difference in the world. And so I want to thank you very much for this award, but it's really been the team that has done it. And we've had a lot of fun doing it. So thank you very much. Take this.
Okay, that's yours. It's people that came up and moved my papers around. Okay, so congratulations, Dr. Cullis. Thank you, Noviture. Extraordinary accomplishments, and as someone that received that vaccine as well, although I have a whole selection of people's innovation in my body. Thank you very much. Okay, I'd like to, we're winding up now, so I'm standing between you and returning to seeing each other, reuniting with old colleagues, making new colleagues, but I do have a few housekeeping notes, so just please bear with me. I'd like to thank our award sponsors once again, who without their support, this would not be possible. Farris, the presenting sponsor. Award sponsors of Accelera, AstraZeneca, Canaccord Genuity, Genome BC, Johnson & Johnson, Noviture, St. Paul's Foundation, and Providence Health. The technology sponsor, Chinook, the event supporter, Arinia. Thank you very much for that. I also want to thank everybody for being here because in addition to the sponsors, all of you have come and taken the time out of your evening to join, of your life to come and join us and to reconnect with each other. And the energy in the room is only because you're all here. We can do as much work as we want to put an event on like this, but how it works out and how enjoyable it is and how exciting it is because of you. So thank you very much for being here and returning to an in-person event with us. And for those of you that attended the online ones, they were pretty good too. But we're very happy to be back in person for sure. Congratulations to all the award winners. I'm sure everybody like me is feeling so inspired. My head is spinning. We're so lucky to work in this community. Brilliant scientists, amazing leadership, entrepreneurs, and just generally a culture of community and of people wanting to help each other and help people be successful. And that really is what makes the BC Life Sciences ecosystem unique. So thank you, and a round of applause for all of you. At this time, I'd also like to thank our board of directors, many of whom are here, and in the interest of time and letting you carry on with your evening, I'm not going to introduce them all, but they are an extraordinary group of leaders that give a lot of time to our little organization, but also really are motivated by making this the best life sciences sector in the world. And I think we've seen tonight, we really are one of those. We have an amazing team, small and mighty team, but an amazing team, and I'd like to thank them. Ryan Butt, who I think everybody knows. William Burrows, Lisa Carver, Claire Nelson, who really, I don't even know how she's still standing because she's been working tirelessly on this. James Bacon, and our new marketing and communication manager who started yesterday, so she's now an expert, Joanna Mills. And we have 4 amazing co-ops that we keep on their toes. They've been with us for, I think, 2 weeks. Cameron, Bashra, Patrick, and Marco. Thank you very much. Thanks to the Convention Center team. They've been really rolling with the punches as we've been trying to plan this event many times. Well, we actually booked this event for April 4th, 2020. So they've been incredibly flexible with when we've had it. Big shout out to Brian at Biofilm Media, the genius behind all the videos. And finally, BC Event Management, who you may have noticed has been telling me where I'm supposed to be standing for the last couple of hours, so thank you very much. And with that, we hope to see you at future events. We have our Invest in BC coming up in November. We have our Career Connect Day in January, which has turned into the largest talent-focused event on about life sciences in Canada. And we really, really hope to see you there. But most importantly, thank you for putting your trust in us in representing the community. It's a privilege every day.